It is Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd, and I am in Yellowstone National Park at the Heart Lake Trailhead. I'm heading out on a 9-day backpacking trip. Let's get started. Probably about a mile in. This is what the trails look like so far. So I've been hiking for about 2 hours. Stopped to have a snack. Here's the view. That's Heart Lake off in the distance. And there's some thermal activity right there in the foreground. Real strong sulfur smell here. Much more majestic view of the lake. Sort of the valley leading up to it. This is Witch Creek. Another view of Witch Creek. So I believe that's Mount Sheridan, and that this is Factory Hill. I'm looking at the map right. Some nice meadows. A little bit better view of the same meadows. That's the Heart Lake Ranger Station. Heart Lake with Mount Sheridan in the background. I have to walk down the beach for a bit to take the trail back up. So I made it to the turnoff for campsite 8J1. That's where I'm staying tonight. Here's a look around camp. There's my food hung up on the food pole. Fire pit. You can see my tent set up over there in the trees. And I'm right on the lake, but it's super windy right now. So hopefully the wind dies down. Here's how high the gusts are. Here's a recap of what I hiked today. I started here at the Heart Lake Trailhead, followed the Heart Lake Trail. This section through here was all wooded. When you get up in this area, there's some thermal features, and I kept following this trail to this intersection. This is where the Heart Lake Patrol Cabin was. There are some really nice meadows in this area. And then I followed the Creek Trail. First you follow the shoreline of Heart Lake, and then you follow the trail. And I'm camped at 8J1 right now. and I think it was around a little over 9 miles, and I'm not sure about any elevation gain or loss. There wasn't really a whole lot. It's around 6:30 in the morning on Tuesday, September 3rd. Look around the lake. Much calmer this morning, no breeze at all. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, around 7:30 in the morning. I'm just now leaving camp at Heart Lake. I have about a 9 to 10 mile hike to Grouse Creek. That's where I'll be camping tonight. There's a bull elk back there. Made it to the turnoff for campsite 8J6. This is where I'll be staying on the last night. So I made it to the trail intersection. I want to take that Trail Creek Trail. Although I'm not going as far as the South Arm today, I'm heading in that direction. And then I think about 5 or 6 days I'll be coming up this way. I think this is Outlet Creek. I crossed over into this meadow. Just kind of sketchy because it's overgrown. You can't see if there's any bears in here. It's a heck of a spot. I think that's Outlet Lake. I think that might be Channel Mountain. There's a look around. Big burn area. It's an unnamed lake off in the distance there. I think that's why it's not on the map, is because it's actually a beaver dam. You can see the lodge right there. It's dammed up over here. So I made it to the turnoff to 7G1, which is Grouse Creek. And I think it's up that way. So those markers were down that way. And I just walked up this field. You see an orange marker on that tree over there. That might be the trail. But there's the marker for 7G1. And I can see some orange markers way up there. I think that might be 7G2 up that way. Here's a look at Grouse Creek right by camp. Here's a look at the meadows right by camp. Pretty nice. I didn't select this spot. I selected a different spot when I made my reservation, but this one was full. So this is what the Park Service gave me. So I walked down to campsite 7G2, and you can see the south arm of Yellowstone Lake from here. Kind of cool. So I'm almost back to my camp. You can kind of see it. You see the food bag, it's orange hanging down from the poles there a little bit. There's been a bunch of elk out all night. And some coyotes. A couple owls. You can see like a million stars. It's Wednesday, September 4th, about 7:30 in the morning. I just left camp at Grouse Creek, and I'm heading to campsite 6A4. Can't remember the name of it, but it's on Lake Yellowstone, I believe on the southeast arm. It's about 8 miles away. Shouldn't take too long to get there. That elk's been over there all night. And there's like 2 or 3 more around here. I've only heard them though, I haven't seen them. There's an owl sitting on that branch right there. There's Yellowstone Lake. I think that's the south arm. You see a boat out there. Another view of Yellowstone Lake. You can see that same boat out there, way off in the distance. That's Peel Island. You can see a patrol cabin right there, I think. I think those are pelicans. So I made it to the trail intersection past 5L2. I'm going to be going to the southeast arm. Let's see. So this is the Two Ocean Cutoff Trail. I'm going to be going that way. But in a couple days I'll be passing by the other end of that on the South Boundary Trail. Some kind of stone marker here, but S looks like SPYL. There's a nice site. There's some big meadows back here. Chipmunk Creek. Another big meadow back here. This one's like east of Chipmunk Creek. You can see a bunch of smoke over that way. That's from the Brimstone Fire. I'm sort of heading in that direction. So I made it to the trail intersection. The South Boundary Trail is down that way. There's a orange marker on the sign over there. I'm not going that way though. I am going to stay in the direction I'm going toward the southeast arm of Yellowstone Lake, which is 1.7 miles. And is in that direction. Can't see it from here, but there's an orange marker over there in the tree line. I think this is an unnamed little pond on my map. So I made it to the intersection near the ranger station. Nice view here. So I'm at the Trail Creek Patrol Cabin. That's the Brimstone Fire you can see off in the distance there. My campsite should be somewhere around over through there. So I made it to campsite 684, right on the shores of Yellowstone Lake, the southeast arm of Yellowstone Lake. There's a view of the lake from the shores of camp. That's the Brimstone Fire right there that you can see. I think that's the ranger station over there in the far bank. So I already set up camp. I'm at camp 6A4. There's a bear warning at this camp. Although I ran into 2 rangers today and they said they were over here checking, looking around for any sign of the bear, and they haven't seen any. The bear management people were out here and they didn't see any sign, I guess. So there is a bear box, so I have all my stuff in the bear box. I'm pretty close to the Brimstone Fire. That was another concern with this site here. I can see it actually from where I'm sitting on the beach. But the rangers also said that there's nothing to worry about as far as that fire. Although I believe tomorrow it's supposed to it has a chance of thunderstorms, and so it's possible that another fire could start up if there was a lightning strike. But let me turn the camera around and you can see the Brimstone Fire. So I'm sitting on the beach right by camp, and that smoke up there is the fire. I have some footage of that fire I took from a pull off over by fishing bridge, I think. I'll cut that in here and you can see what it looks like from the other side of the lake over there. So that is the Brimstone Fire. Campsite 5E4 is right there somewhere. And I'm staying at 6A4, which is down that way somewhere. First I thought that was a cloud, but I think that's smoke from the fire. It's outside the park boundary. I'm not sure. It's a lot of smoke. So I think this fire is called the Fishhawk Fire. It's in the Yellowstone National Park. It's outside the park boundary. It's the one the ranger was telling me about earlier. Looks pretty massive compared to the Brimstone Fire right there. The smoke cloud has visibly gotten bigger since I've been standing here. I don't see any fire though. I think it's about 20 miles away. Here's the sunset on the southeast arm of Yellowstone Lake. Off in the distance, that's the Brimstone Fire. And then that massive mountain of smoke is the Fishhawk Fire. A look around the lake this morning. It's about 6:30. So here's a recap for the second day. I camped that night at 7G1. I walked up to 7G2. That's where you could see the lake from. Hiked up this way. I saw an owl right through here somewhere. Pretty excited about that. Somewhere right in here you could see Peel Island, and you can see that there's a patrol cabin on the island. I continued along the Trail Creek Trail. Somewhere in here I ran into a couple rangers that were heading out. I think they had stayed here previously, but they told me about that Fishhawk Fire. Went to the ranger station for a minute, just check it out, and I camped at 6A4, and that's where you could see the Brimstone Fires up in here, or up in there a little bit more. So the fishhawk fire over there started on Monday, which is the day I headed back here, and I didn't have any idea that there was even a fire over there until I ran into the ranger yesterday. And where I'm camped now on the southeast arm of Yellowstone Lake, I was able to get cell service last night, an internet connection, and identify exactly where that fire is and find the NC web page. And it's about 15-ish miles from here, from this point to where the fire is, just measuring straight across the map, so like a bird would fly. The problem is I'm supposed to head in that direction today, another 5 miles, and then travel along that that range of mountains there down the Yellowstone River toward the southern boundary of the park, and just linger over there for like 3 days. My miles weren't real high every day, only like 4 to 6 miles. The point of this trip was to get back there and then hang out for a long time, because it's so hard to get back there, and then come back out on the south boundary trail. My concern is once I get over there, I won't have any service and I won't know what's going on with the fire. And I won't know if, it's getting worse, if I need to leave. And I won't have any information, so I won't know what to do. So right now I'm leaning toward just going on and turning around and heading back toward Heart Lake, and just playing it safe, because like I said, I don't want to be over there 5 miles closer. And let me say this, the fire is actually outside the park, so it's not, it would have to come into the park another 10 miles, I think, or something like that. But I'm just going to be over there hanging out for 3 days with no information, not knowing which way the fire's going, if it's out, if it got bigger or whatever. So yeah, I think I'm going to pack up camp. I'm going to eat breakfast, think about it some more, and then make a final decision then. So it's Thursday, September 5th, about 8:30 in the morning. I just talked to the backcountry office about the fishhawk fire, and they seem to think it's okay if I keep going on the trip, so I'm just going to keep going. The fire seems to be moving northeast, which is away from the direction I'll be heading, so I'm going to keep going. And I don't see a big plume of smoke like I did yesterday. It looks much better over there, so maybe that was just the wind doing that. I'm going to pull away from the lake soon. This is probably the last view. Gets prettier the further back in here you go. It looks like a bear came up through here recently. I'm not smart enough to know if those are grizzly tracks or black bear tracks. Bigger than my foot. There's a semi-recent pile of scat. It's not steaming, but it's wet. That'll give you a better idea of how big the prints are. My shoe size is size 12. And those are wide. Beautiful spot right here. It's the same area, just a little further down the trail. So here's some information about the Brimstone Fire, what's closed. That's all information I had when I came back here. And that's going to be up that way. That's the Thorofare trail heading north, back toward the 9 Mile trailhead, up along the east shore of Yellowstone Lake. I'm not going that way. I'm going the Thorofare trail south towards 6B2, and there's a ford of the Yellowstone River down there I'm going to have to do. And then that's the way I just came. The ranger station at Trail Creek is 4.4. I was just there this morning. And the Heart Lake Ranger Station is 21.4 miles. This is a view of the Yellowstone River from campsite 6B2. And a huge log jam right there. Alright, here's where I have to ford the Yellowstone River. See the orange marker over there. This looks like a pretty good spot. It was getting deeper. I walked up that way. So I'm just going to do it right here. So I made it across, no issues. Deepest part I crossed at was probably right up to my crotch. It's just a little bit cold. So I am heading to campsite 6C2. It says 3.6 miles. I don't know if that's right or not. It doesn't match up with the map, but it's about, I want to say 4.5 miles, something like that. But either way, I'm going there. Here's that 360-degree view. I'm right near the turnoff to campsite 6C3, which is back there. So I made it to the turnoff to 6C2, which is where I'll be camping. The sign says 1 mile, but the permit says it's 1.5 miles. So we'll see. Take about a half hour either way. So I made it to camp 8C2. It probably is about 1.5 miles. It was pretty far back there. There's a look around camp. Standing in the fire pit. I'm going to get everything set up. It looks like it might storm maybe. So this is a video recap for day 4. I spent the night at 6A4. Beautiful views of the lake. You could see the Brimstone Fire up here, and then over to the east you could see the Fishhawk Fire. After making some calls and stuff this morning, I continued to follow the Trail Creek trail, pulling away from the lake. There's some big beautiful meadows right in there. Somewhere through here I started seeing a lot of bear sign, a lot of paw prints and some scat. I went to 6B2 and took some video down the river. I forded the river here, walked up through here. There's a lot of open prairies and stuff up through this way. And then I am camped right now at 6C2. Here's the last look around for tonight. It's about 7:15. The sun just went behind the mountains over there. Good morning. It is Friday, September 6th, I think, about 7:45 in the morning. Just left camp and I'm headed south about 8 miles to camp 6Y6. It's a rainy Friday. Probably good for the wildfires. So I made it to the trail intersection. If you were to go up that way and over Eagle Pass, that'll take you out of the park toward where the Fishhawk Fire is, but I won't be going that way, obviously. I'm going to continue on the Thorofare trail, which is down this way. So I made it to the next intersection. I am going to campsite 6Y6, which is 3.5 miles south. So I made it to camp 6Y6. This is by far my favorite spot on the, it's by far my favorite camp on the trip. Somebody was even nice enough to chop up a bunch of firewood. So it's been raining for the last couple of hours. It still looks pretty overcast. I'm not sure if it's going to let up or not, but hopefully it does. I can get out and get something to eat. But here's the view from my tent. I'll stop raining for a little while and try to get something to eat before it starts up again, but it looks like it might be breaking up. I hope that's the case. It's kind of chilly out right now. It is Saturday, September 7th. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Looks like it's going to be another overcast, rainy day. I'm getting ready to leave camp. I'm heading to camp 6T2. I'm going to swing by the Thorofare ranger station. It's only about 6 miles to camp, something like that. So a short day, last short day before the big days start and I get out of here. Makes for a pretty picture. So I made it to the trail intersection. I'm gonna camp tonight at 6T2, but I'm not going over there right now. I'm gonna stay on the Thorofare trail and go to the ranger station, which is only another 0.7. I mean, I would be at camp like at 10 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna go over here and check this out. Here's the Thorofare ranger station. It's a pretty area right here. So it looks like I have 1.4 to camp this way. I believe those are grouse. There's 2 of them over there. So I made it to camp 6T2. Here's the view from the fire pit. Good morning. It's Sunday, September 8th, about 10 after 7. Tried to get started a little bit earlier this morning. I have a big day. I need to hike about like 16.5 miles. There's a little bit of climbing in there, like 1,400 feet, I think. And I have to ford water either once or twice, depending on which way I go. And I think I'm going to go the once route, even though it's like 0.2 longer, because it is cold right now. It frosted last night. And the first ford, if I go the little bit shorter route, is right there, and I don't really want to get to the water right now. So okay, I lied. I'm going to go the 2 fording. I'm going to go the route where I have to ford twice. Here's the first one. I made it, no issues. It is kind of moving fast though, but feels like ice water, but it's only about ankle deep. That's why I decided just to come on across. Hopefully the next one's just as easy. So I'm on the south boundary trail. I guess it's named that way because the boundary of the park is right over there. There's the second ford of the day. Be happy to get this obstacle out of the way. A little deeper than the Thorofare Creek. Just as cold, but no issues. So that's looking back the way I came. Down below me here in this canyon, kind of see it right there is Lynx Creek. Now I'm heading up this way toward Mariposa Lake. I think that's Lynx Creek off in the distance there. The sun's trying to poke its head out, but it looks like it's going to be cloudy all day. I was walking up the trail and ran into a porcupine. At first I thought it was a skunk. I was going to get sprayed. It's hiding over in the trees right there. You can see its quills. So I'm on my way down now, heading toward Mariposa Lake. Mariposa Lake. So I made it to the trail intersection. I'm going to stay on the south boundary trail heading toward the Snake River Trail. And if you took that, you could go up toward Heart Lake and Yellowstone Lake, but I'm not going that way. It's been raining for about the last hour and a half or something. Nasty day. So that's the way I just came. I'm going to leave the south boundary trail and head up the Snake River Trail toward the Heart River Trail tomorrow. There's a look around. It's a real pretty area. It's a pretty spot right here. Today was a long, wet day. The morning started off, I had to ford the Thorofare Creek. Then about an hour later, I had to ford the Yellowstone River. I had about a 1,400 foot climb. It frosted last night. Everything started melting, so you know your shoes get wet from the plants when they're walking through them. Then it started raining this afternoon, and it's been raining pretty much non-stop. It's 5:30 right now, and it's stopped. Just got to camp. I got camp set up. I'll try to eat something and go put on all the warm clothes I have in my tent and go to bed. Till tomorrow. It is Monday, September 9th, about 7:40 in the morning. I just got everything packed up. It rained all night. Everything's wet, tent's wet, shoes and socks are wet. I have dry clothes to sleep in though, so that's something to look forward to. It's still raining right now. I've got about 12 miles to go today to get back to Heart Lake. This will be my last night out here. It looks pretty overcast right now. I don't know if it's supposed to... I heard two different things. One person told me it was supposed to clear up today, then rain tomorrow, and then I heard rain every day, so I don't know what's going to happen. But it is raining right now. I'm going to put the phone away and get started so I can warm up. So it's been raining pretty much non-stop for about 2 hours since I left camp. You see, this is a real pretty drainage. But it's about 40-something degrees out here and raining. So it's not real fun right now. It's still pretty. There's a whole herd of elk up on that mountain right there. I kept hearing a bull elk. I was looking for him. He's right there. 1, 2, like 7 or 8 of them at least. something up there. I can't tell exactly what it is. Did you hear that? I think it's an elk. Looks like it still has meat on it. Probably shouldn't be hanging out here. So I've been walking for about 4 hours. Probably 3 hours of it in the rain at least. Here's a look around. Stopped for a short break and the sun came out from it. That is the Heart River, which flows out of Heart Lake, which is where my camp is, and I should be there in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I made it back to the intersection of the Trail Creek Trail. I was sitting here last Tuesday, I think. I pointed out that I'd be coming up this way. That's the way I just came. So now I gotta head down this way, maybe like half a mile to my campsite. So I made it to campsite 8J6. This is my last night. It's starting to cloud up again. I hope the rain stays away. There's the outlet from Heart Lake. That's the sun going down behind. That's the sun going down behind Mount Sheridan. Good morning. It's Tuesday, September 10th, about 10 after 7 in the morning. Just packed up camp. I'm heading back to my car. This is the last day of the trip. I've got about 12 miles to hike to get back to the car. Kind of bittersweet. It's been raining on me the last couple of days, so that makes you want to get back to civilization. But it was a great trip and I had fun. All the sections, all the trail I'll be hiking today, I've already hiked. I took video of on the way in, so I might not take a lot of video on the way out. And it's kind of overcast. Looks like it might rain a little bit. It sprinkled a little bit last night. Could hear it hitting the tent. So yeah, good trip. Let me knock out these 12 miles and get back to the car. Looks like Mount Washburn has a little bit of snow up there. So I made it back to the trailhead. When I started, this was laying on the ground, so they fixed it sometime since I've been gone.